They've got their townwide tag sale today at the county.
Oh, really?
In Wendell, yeah. So, it's already pretty good. I work with somebody who's going to be leaving.
Yeah, so I have to, you guys gotta remind me that I have to go to Zoom I can't just click on the link. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to be able to just click on the link and log in as the host, and then somehow it didn't.
You're making it easier for you.
Technology is good. Look out for
Okay, I'm gonna pause the recording, so. Okay, let's see, if somebody else comes along, I'll let them in. So it's 9:02, so that's 9:04. Okay, so, first thing is to open the meeting, which I think I just did. In attendance here is, myself, Mark, Catherine, Howard, Walter, John, Tom, sorry. Online is Dave Green, Eric Stacker, and Mary David is a guest today. I'm gonna write that down before I forget. Okay. So we'll review the agenda and, which is basically open the meeting. We're gonna have our public comments. We'll review the minutes from the April meeting. A little discussion about membership, discussion about the Lake Wyola Stormwater Erosion Task Force, discussion on Randall Road maintenance, update on the dam activities, update on the wildfire management plan, update on the beaver dam management on Lakeview, at the Lakeview culvert, and anything that we didn't anticipate. And, is there anything else someone wants to add to the agenda right now? We can always do it at the end. Let's start off with public comments. Is there any?
I'm good.
All right, so there'll be no public comments. All right, let's do a quick review of the minutes from the April meeting. 3-pager this time.
Really?
Eric, it looks like you're reading them. Are you good or?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Hey, we'll do a vote, I guess. We'll start off with Catherine,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes,
Eric,
Yes.
and Marcus, yes. So we approve the minutes. If anyone sees any typos, in the next couple of days, let me know and I'll just, change those. Okay, good. Next item on the committee, is committee membership. I got a note from, Brennan, the assistant administrator, wanting to know, I guess it's time of year, so the select board reappoints everybody to all the boards. So the question is, in my mind, does everybody still want to be on on the advisory committee? Yeah, I guess. You can change your mind. You can let me know privately if you want.
So we should ask if there's anybody who doesn't want to be.
there you go. That's the way to ask it.
Who doesn't want to be on it?
I think we should have.
I think technically speaking, I don't think this committee is made up with the population of residents that the bylaws stipulate that that are members. I don't have a bylaw in front of me, but that might be something to fix while we're doing this. That's all I'm saying, if that's true.
Not quite sure I understand you, Eric.
Well, there are certain.
Well, I mean, I think the bylaw has, like the select board's got to have somebody, the Board of Health, there's all, and I think there might be some other people that are supposed to be on here. Maybe, I don't know, can't remember, I haven't read it in a while, but whether it's the planning board or I just don't know. I honestly can't remember what it is, but I think that maybe this committee needs some members, technically speaking. I don't know if it really matters, but the way the bylaws read, I believe there's supposed to be some other members here that aren't here.
I can fill you in on that. We should have a person from the Conservation Commission on.
There you go. Now you're talking.
And we should have a person from the Planning Board on.
And I think.
See, that's what I thought.
And the Emergency Management Director, yeah.
Right, or he could presumably designate somebody
Somebody,
like
yes.
Walter.
No, we've never had anybody from the planning board on as far as I can remember, right? Never.
That's
In all my years. And at some point, I thought we removed that from the bylaws. I could be completely incorrect on that. Because we hadn't had anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't, but I think we should look at that.
Well, I think we should look at it and decide if we don't necessarily have to have someone from the planning board. We might want to change the bylaw. That's all.
Right. I thought we did though. I thought we had done that.
Charter, I don't think it's a bylaw, I think it's a charter,
I
isn't it?
think you're right.
Yeah, addition statement or charter or something like that, it's not an actual bylaw.
yes, it was listed in the scope of I forgot where it was, the original document, which I could dig up, not right now, but says that these are the people.
Members that should be.
Right, and then we added over the years, we added dam keeper and EMT director.
Right,
And,
and we took over the functions of the dam management committee.
Yes, we did, okay. Tom?
My understanding, might have been 22, but I think it was 24. There's minutes you can read from both your committee and the select board saying what you were saying. It says Concom rep, planning board rep, board of health rep, emergency management director, and keeper. There's the sixth individual that has a role, and then there are up to 5 members of the Lake Local Association for a total of 11.
Really?
On
I think it was 5 members of the town at large.
It should be, but it does say Lake Local Association in the minutes that we're looking at, so
Right,
that's
'cause there's-
another question to bring up down the line, but I will also add, planning board founded this committee back in the 90s, and there's a very good argument, for lack of a better word, to include a representative from all of the permit granting committees,
Which is,
Board of Health, Concom, and planning board, or land use committees, I guess you would say, so I
So
just want to.
so the planning board would have to designate someone and nominate them.
Right.
Which has occurred, it's in process.
Oh, excellent.
is that you?
It is.
Yeah.
But it's,
I'm looking at
it's
the-
not official, it's not going for it.
So,
I'm looking at the website and it says vacancy for the 3 entities that we just
And
described.
on the website, it looks as though it has 12 if you added the 3 vacancies, and I wanted to flag that as well. I think 11 is the cap.
oh, there is,
And well, when Walter was added,
Yeah,
it was
that-
kind of an interesting,
Right, because when
Walter's-
I retired, I said I wasn't supposed to be on the committee, and
Right.
went to the select board and asked because of
your
historical.
technical skills.
yeah,
Of the dam, that's when that position was added.
yeah, exactly. So it's never really been kind of woven in officially,
Right,
I-
to that original
There's
statement.
11 spots on the website.
including Mark. Did you have the chair as well?
No,
I thought it was Mark.
No, Mark is not, oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. there's
So I
12.
counted 12, if you include the word vacancy, it's some of the ones there, so maybe
Well-
Walter could be moved to a vacancy, or maybe as you said, Walter. could be management secretary. But,
Right, we could,
That's what I'm aware
if you're willing, Walter, we could ask planning to appoint you as his representative. Would you be willing to do that? I mean, you're coming anyway,
Yeah, company anyways.
and that would take care of that. And there's also the question of Terry Smith that comes about once a year.
yeah, I gotta talk to Terry. I gotta, he does he doesn't participate in me, but he reads all the minutes and gives me comments on things. And he reads the agendas and, but, I have to talk to Terry, see if he still wants to be on the committee. I'll check, you know, so this is what I'll do, if that's okay with everybody, I'll contact the people who are not here right now and make sure, just confirm if they're still want to be on the committee. I'll then send a note to the select, to administrator, to Brennan, and say, or to the select board, and the select board should appoint, or should make sure that we have someone from Concom, planning, and the,
Yeah, unless we need to send each of those boards a reminder to say, you need to appoint somebody to this committee.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the select board do it, but I'm fine with you
If
either way.
they're-
Yeah, but if they've got other stuff going on, if you want it done
Okay,
immediately.
okay, all right, so I'll copy this, I'll send it in to Concom. Concom's not gonna send anybody, I don't think, because I think they're overloaded and understaffed. Planning board looks like they're doing something. And so I'll send notes to those committees and to the select board and see what we get.
I want to come back to that question about Lake Wyola Association members. And it's not that we're looking to have a certain number of members from the association. It's that there's a cap on the number of members from the association, so it won't all be weighted to them. Right, so people from anywhere in town can be on it, but we can only have like 5 members that are association members. Which is why I joined.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, the original intent of the committee was that there was town representation and lake. You know, lake
Like
residents.
residents,
By being members, that includes us?
yeah.
You're a member as dam keeper.
Yeah, but I'm also a member of the Lake Wyola Association. So do I go into that 5?
That's a good question. I have avoided joining the association.
Yeah.
just that, But I don't.
It probably. Well, next year what I could do is just a donation so that I don't be a member. Somehow, or something.
I guess I don't see a dual status, you know, as being an issue, as long as you're the dam keeper.
Somebody can
But we
argue
don't
though
want-
that if he is a member of the Lake Wyola Association, there is that many more people from the association. that are
Right, we
actually
push
voting.
us up over the limit. If we have to count that.
We can't count them twice.
Sorry to open such a can of worms.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you for making this meeting 20 minutes longer. Yeah, right.
It's like we can't count them twice, and so,
So we're interpreting this 5-member limit as meaning 5 members who are just members at large.
yes.
And not members in a position.
I believe that's the way we've always interpreted it.
That seems good.
Okay, this is this is much more involved discussion than I.
Really, I didn't mean to wreck the meeting here, but
No, it's not a problem at all. We're still in good shape. Okay, all right, so let's leave it as,
You say no more than 5 members at large are one sale, association.
yeah, all right,
Or this number does not include.
I'll clarify in the minutes what we're interpreting. Okay, sounds good. So we finished that discussion?
Yep, move on.
Okay, item 6. Lake Wyola Stormwater Erosion Task Force. Now Jennifer came, as you all know, I think, from discussions that, they're applying for a rural development grant to do the design work on basically the roads and also the Fisk Brook, to do a geomorphic study of that to see what would happen if, if the big beaver dam at Fisk Pond broke, and what would happen downstream. And they would like to have a number of town organizations say, in the application for the grant, say that we support them. And so they came to us, our committee, and said, can you write a letter of support? And the select board's going to do it. I'm not sure if anybody else in Board of Health has done it, or I think Concom has, although I'm not sure. So I drafted up a letter to send to the town administrator and the select board. I think I have a copy of it here. I sent everybody copies of it. I got it up here and I'll try and share my screen. Share screen is share. Okay, and
There you go.
let's see if we make it a little bigger. And let's see if we can make it a little bigger. So basically it says, the message I was trying to convey was the idea that, frankly, FERCog, with this committee, did a lot of work on the watershed-based plan. And we want to, it's been like, and this has been work that's compiled 25 years worth of studies. And, you know, it'd be a shame basically to have this thing die. And so the idea is that we're supporting the grants, so the stuff in the watershed plan can be actually implemented. And the first phase of that is to do the design work, and then the second phase is to do the actual repair work. And if anyone's had a chance to read it, but there, you know, if you have any comments, I'd be glad to change anything you want.
The only thing I have, it's kind of a technical thing in the second paragraph, you say that Franklin County Regional Governments, Franklin Regional Council of Governments. That's what FERCog stands for.
Catch.
Okay,
Right.
I've got a couple punctuation matters, but I'll send those to you.
okay, great. Tom?
You might want to consider where it says, one of which is stormwater runoff in town and dirt roads around Lake Wyola.
Yeah.
You might want to put, town and private roads.
Well, because,
Or if you wanted to get the dirt, I don't know if I don't know if you wanted to get the private in,
well,
or if you wanted to avoid that for now.
I was trying to get the idea of the concept was dirt roads, and that because if the roads were all paved, we wouldn't be having issues.
Okay, then just the differentiation into the,
Town, okay, how
some
about,
of the, town roads are dirt roads. So that's what I was stuck on, from,
how about,
Maybe just take out town ed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
maybe
put dirt roads.
well, but there's also paved roads,
yeah.
where water comes over the paved roads, and then, so how about if I say town paved, and how about if I just say paved and dirt roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether you were differentiating town and private or paved and dirt.
Yeah, I'm trying to say.
You could just say roads, take out the town and dirt and just say roads, from roads around the lake.
Perfect,
That includes everything.
yeah,
That includes all the roads.
yeah, I like that. Does anyone see anything else? Well, appreciate it. Am I supposed to sign these kind of things, or?
You're chair of the committee. If it's-
Is it okay if I just sign it, or do we want to get everyone's signature on here?
No.
Just as the chair.
I could say you could sign it and then put a note, voted at the lake at the today's date, blah, 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 voted by the committee at the meeting, endorsed by the committee in majority or totality, or however you want to say it.
You could put that in the top paragraph, that LWAC.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's great.
To support the application.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll make these changes, I'll include it in the minutes, but also there's a short deadline window here, they have to get the grant application in by the end of the month. So I'll send this off tomorrow, to the administrator and select board, and, and it just gets, gets put into the grant application.
I'll put a few punctuation things right on your copy here.
Mark, do we need a motion to approve your letter subject to changes, or have we already actually done that?
We should have a vote, we should do a motion, when in doubt, do a motion.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve of Mark's letter subject to changes made today.
Second.
So we'll have a vote, Catherine?
Yes.
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And Marcus, yes. Perfect.
In the window.
Okay. Next item, this is a sticky one, so to speak, is the Randall Road boat ramp maintenance. So, Howard, last meeting said, the brush needs to be clipped, around the boat ramp. And the Clyde's toilet needs to be maintained, and so the question was, who's in charge of the boat ramp, and, well, what should we do?
Well, it's under the jurisdiction of Concom, right?
They claimed jurisdiction of it, about a couple of years ago. It said it's technically in the, although it's a town-owned road.
In conservation land.
Yeah, it's on conservation land.
Is it really, or is the conservation land start at the beach and go out?
I think it goes all the way up.
Yeah, cause you got
The road?
the stream.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry?
I think it's conservation land, as I recall.
Okay, okay, it's conservation land, so what do we do? Send a note to Concom?
I would think that's the first approach, right? We've got some issues
Yeah.
on here. How do you advise us?
actually, wasn't the toilet being maintained by the custodian that was here, did the library toilet and down there?
It
I
was.
think at some point it got removed from his position, I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I know that he was doing it at one point. My understanding is nobody's doing it now.
I understand. It's,
Right.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Technical term.
All right, so does somebody want to draft a note to the Concom, or do you want me to do it, or?
I can draft it for you.
Okay, so, thank you, Catherine. All right, so, what are the issues that we know of down there, besides, brush clearing along the boat ramp?
Well, the boat ramp itself is deteriorating, apparently, according to Howard, right? Isn't that what I heard?
Yeah, that, and there's a berm out in the water
Power loading.
from power loading floats onto their trailers, which is a normal thing that happens, but,
What do we call it?
the thing is, if they went, highway department went down there when I draw the lake down in the fall, I'm quite sure they could reach that area. And,
Yeah, but they can't do that.
well,
Well,
I don't mean take it out,
No,
just move it back and forth,
Flatten it.
get it out of that,
But I think it's still.
push it to the right
Yeah,
or left.
Permission from Concom to do that.
oh, yeah, but maybe Concom would just say, go
Or
ahead,
they'll
take care of it.
come up with whatever idea they have.
What do we call that? What would Catherine call that?
What,
The issue of the uneven, under the water, issue.
well,
It's a berm.
it's a
Yeah.
berm, yeah, it's caused by power
There's
loading.
a,
boat.
yeah, the whole deep hole and a
Yeah.
berm or sandbar or whatever
Yeah,
created by, folks being loaded back onto the trailer.
And how do we want to express the problems being created by this unevenness of
Well,
service?
it's harder, it's because
Well,
the
the boat
bottom
is-
is uneven, it's harder to put your boat in and take your boat out.
if you don't go in straight, all of a sudden you go over the edge,
You gotta go over the edge, yeah.
one side
Oh,
will drop.
fall down. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll draft something and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Let's-
it could be a
and let's copy
liability
it.
issue, someone gets hurt, doesn't know it's there or something like that. And
Right. Possible injury, and let's copy it to the select board and the town administrator,
Okay.
and maybe.
Is there also an issue? Is there a porta potty down there? There's also an issue with that, I think, right?
Yeah, we were talking about that. No one's cleaning it.
It's not a porta potty, it's a
Compost.
composting toilet.
whatever.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah, it's a toilet. It was a,
It was nice, clean, huh, before.
yeah, it was a gift from VCR when they replaced theirs at the park.
Okay, all right, so the plan is, Catherine's gonna draft something up. We'll send it off to the committee members to take a look at, and then off to the administrator and the, select board and Concom. Okay? Good.
Yep.
All right, let's see here. Item, next item is item 8 is, update on dam activities. The dam inspection is now scheduled for May,
Tuesday, the 20th.
yeah, Tuesday, May 20th at 9:30. If anybody wants to attend, I'll send a note to Lenny, see, let him know, as the EMT to, see if they want to participate.
What time is it?
9:30. Is the weather looking good still?
So far,
Okay. It's been delayed twice because of weather.
yeah, well, yeah, one time it was my problem. But
And the only other thing that's happening is we're waiting to hear back from the Office of Dam Safety about the seawall and about the dam and seawall funding grant for the design repairs.
Tuesday's looking good so far.
Okay. So we're basically, dam inspections is set for Tuesday, and we're just waiting for funds to start doing some repair work. Anything else that we can think of?
I think the trash was,
No, really?
yeah.
What do we, what,
Usually, yeah,
Huh?
spring and fall.
Yeah. Because when we had that real heavy rain and started to open the gate, that once you got past 6 inches, it wasn't doing much of anything different.
Again, huh?
what do we do about that?
Hire a diver.
We happen to know one.
Yeah.
I hear he's expensive.
Ain't
I
right.
just hope the next time they do the trash correct, that they put it at an angle rather than straight like that, because it catches everything.
Well, I think the idea is as part of the repair process is they're gonna replace the
Yeah.
structure.
Hmm.
That's in the scope of the repairs. But that's not gonna occur till, yes, 27, and then,
Yeah, probably
June 27,
the fall or winter or
yeah. And yeah,
27, 26.
26, it should be next fall.
Yeah,
This fall,
Well, that's
fall
it.
25 will have all the designs and permitting done.
yeah.
And 27, will actually the 26 will do the actual work.
If we have
If we get 150,000 in funding,
all that, and if we have the right to cross over the land too.
and if we can have access to over there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Although that could be granted on a temporary basis too. It doesn't, if the sale doesn't go through, they could, I'm sure someone could write up a request and get and get have room to, allow us to cross his property to repair the dam for a limited time. And there's options there. At least in my mind. But if he says no, but he's a very reasonable guy.
no, I don't think
It's always
well,
eminent domain.
Oh, he always had that guy. Eminent domain. All right, good. Now, so back to the trash cleaning issue. Now, any suggestions of what we could do? I mean, we don't have the funds to do it. So this committee can't say,
usually we can go through a summer. But if we start getting rain like we do now, all summer long, it's gonna be a problem. But although it won't for the people down the street.
if I sent a note to town administrator and the select board saying trash rack needs to be cleaned, someone needs to hire a diver to go down there and clean it.
Yeah.
Not an option. Do you think I'll get any response?
You'll get a response. It's probably the best approach, Mark.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good idea.
It's really not a big deal. It's just a matter of just allocating funds and.
It's just money,
It's
right?
just- I think so. I don't know, are you interested in being hired to do that?
I am, the only thing now, because I am been voted to be able to be paid by the hour for doing work at the cemetery.
Yeah,
I think there is something in, and I don't know if it is in, because it's in different contexts. If while I'm being paid by the hour, employed in the town for one position, if I can be contracted to do work in another, that gets into some of the ethics laws stuff.
Hmm.
I'd have to refresh myself on that again, but there was something where if you work for, you know, a paid employee of the town, you cannot contract to the town. If that was the case, well, you know,
Here's what I bet that you can't contract to the town for work related to the other work that you're doing.
right.
The
And I,
difference is totally different,
that was, I wasn't sure about.
but
I'd have to refresh
that's just
myself.
a guess.
Right, and that would be, have to be up to them to decide if they can or can't, and whether they'll, last time I had them write me a letter, you know. Full harmless letter, basically, indemnify me to do the
Yeah.
work, and give them the rate, $1 an hour, and let them decide if they want to do it or not.
Just we need it done, I imagine they'll let you do it.
Yeah, it does seem like an estimate of how much it'll cost will be good to put in that letter. It doesn't have to be, you know, it's not being held, we wouldn't hold somebody to their feet to the fire on that estimate, but at least we have to have some kind of idea what it would cost.
Well, we paid them before, so we should have an idea what it would cost.
Right.
And usually it's taking less than 2 hours every time, so,
all right, so let's say, you know,
not to exceed $200.
let's just see $300.
Yeah, not to exceed.
Oh, that's reasonable enough for sure.
Yeah.
Any equipment? Do I get-
I have all my own equipment, yeah.
Okay,
And everybody else gets paid for their equipment too when they do that sort of thing. Travel.
That's figured in the, that's a part of the portal.
all right, good, I think we have a plan, so I'll send a letter and say, I'm gonna do something. Okay, anything else about the trash rack or the dam activities?
That's all.
Oh, oh, okay, I'm sorry, thank you. How do I get back?
You don't have to, you can go up to the top there and hit that blue admit.
Oh, okay,
But if you want to stop sharing, it's up at the top.
yeah, stop that. So I'm gonna stop sharing. We can go back
There you
to
go.
here. All right, and Bob, sorry, I didn't notice you're hanging around there. I hope you weren't waiting too long to get into the meeting. Okay. So, next item, on the agenda, since we're done with the dam activities, is the, wildfire management plan discussion. We're waiting to hear back, from, Phil Gilmore, to see when he can schedule dates. Art was following up on that, but Art's not here, so I can't really give you any more information than that.
Eric, it was on the select board agenda, I don't know, a couple of weeks back, but I believe did the select board ever get to it? I had to go to another meeting.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, I do know that one of the things Art said, this is not to not answer your question, because I don't really, I can't remember, to be honest. But he said that like it would be later in the year. That's what he was saying. Like this is a really busy time for him. And does anyone else remember that when he was sort of saying it wouldn't be right now?
He sent an email to me a couple of days ago saying that he was sorry that he hadn't gotten on and he was going to contact him. So that's the only thing I've heard from him the last couple of days.
Right.
I don't remember the later in the year thing.
Right.
I think the point of me asking you about the select board is that this was going to be a town-wide initiative. And
Yes, I do know. Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that. You're right about that.
you did. So it did. You actually got, okay. So what was the final, say? What did the select board say? Did they accept that as yes, we should do it town-wide?
Yes, I think that we did do that. I believe we did do that.
Okay, so that should be feathered into whatever we're doing here, Mark, right? If we know the town is going to do this town-wide, I think that should be factored into if we do anything separate as the association, or if it's even if we need to anymore.
I mean, it seems like the point person, from my point of view, the point person to sort of get this all arranged and going is Lenny. I mean, it's an issue of the fire department and emergency management and so forth, that's really what it's an issue of, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Um, Actually, I want to share my screen again, because one of the issues that we came up with, that we talked about last week, or last meeting, was that Phil recommended an emergency evacuation plan for the lake.
Yep.
And so I drafted up a note to send to the emergency management team, and we'll see. And I will share my screen so we can see that. And so it must be this one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and we're gonna go full
Good
screen,
at it.
and we're gonna make it bigger.
My only comment to that is, I don't think it should be tied in with the Lake Wyola, with the Lake Wyola Dam EAP.
Okay,
Because that's specifically for dam failure.
Yeah.
And the evacuation plan for, in case of a fire, would be drastically different because different people are involved.
Yeah.
In this case, in the dam failure, it's basically the people below the dam and right around that area that are affected. Whereas a wildfire is gonna involve, or could potentially involve, every household in and around the Lake Wyola area. And the evacuation plan would possibly, it could be vastly different. And things that would have to be taken into consideration for that is, I mean, you look at some of the roads that are dead end roads.
yeah,
And potentially you have like Shore Drive that used to go through to North Laurel Drive. Now, I know that's private land that's owned, that separates it. But one thing that would make that area much safer is if there was some kind of ability to get through that area. And now, say a fire starts and cuts off Shore Drive near the beginning, everyone that's in there is stuck. Whereas if there was a way to have passage through, you know, in an emergency,
Emergency area.
right, that would be different. And I could see where each road, each area of the lake would use one of 3 different roads out of there to get out, which you usually have primary and a secondary way out, because the primary, think of it as a building. You know, my plan is usually to go out that door, but if the fire is between here and that door, you gotta have a different way out. That plan should include all of that. And it should be distributed, be able to be distributed to everyone that lives at the lake. If it's in part of the EAP, that's gonna go to the people that have a copy of the EAP. And
okay,
it really, it's a totally separate issue.
okay. So I'll remove that reference to the Lake Wyola, emergency action plan.
Right,
And
and that's just as part of this process of doing the fire safe community, that they need to create a separate fire evacuation plan for the Lake Wyola area.
And then would that be the emergency management team that would?
Absolutely.
It could be blocked off.
Right, yeah, if you like
All the time.
that passageway, yeah, be blocked off with a gate or something, with the ability for emergency personnel or key people to have access to open that up. I mean, and we could, it's basically, we should look at many of the roads like that, that are, you know, basically one-way roads coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of it that is a thing.
Yeah, the Laurels, all the Laurels are in the same situation.
Yeah.
Saying on something like Merrill, places on Merrill Drive,
Okay.
are, the same
I mean,
situation.
some places it can be extended, other places it can't, but you just gotta look at each of those and say, what's the best way out, primary, what's the best way out, secondary?
And
And the thing about, fire is, in that case, if you're evacuating, it's because things are moving fast and fire department can't handle it, so. It needs to be almost like if they make a little packet that goes. Like Leverett did that with their they're part of the EAP for Lake Wyola Dam, but more houses are affected than truthfully, they had like 3 houses at the time that was affected. They put up little kits that had the evacuation plan for them, certain parts of the copy that they had like silent light sticks to hang or some kind of thing to say, hey, we've evacuated, hanging on their door, so you didn't have to worry about it. And it was all in a little Ziploc bag, we don't have to get quite that elaborate, but, you know, people should have it in a place where they, you know, could easily,
And we had also discussed making sure it's on the town website so that
right,
people can look it up.
look it up and, yeah, if it needs to be refreshed, it's a good way to do it.
I'll makes those changes and incorporate it into the document and send it around for everybody for final comments. Okay. And then I'll send it, and then, we'll send it off to, the EMT and town administrator and the select board.
And we should remember to not reply all
Yes,
to you,
Yeah.
because otherwise we're breaking
Yeah,
the.
I hope your email is good. Yeah, everyone's pretty good about that. I think I'm the only one who sends out things to all, like agendas and minutes and stuff.
Mark, should we, kind of reach out to Lenny and see where he's at? I mean, now that the select board has said, yes, we're on board, that's a townwide initiative, should we reach out to him and see where he's at with Phil and where that's in progress?
Sure, I think it's a good idea. Historically, he doesn't seem to answer my emails, so maybe I'll just give him a call.
Yeah.
Go down and find it.
Oh, you're at a meeting.
I mean, you could always, sometimes if you CC the town administrator on an email, you might get a reply.
I'll do multiple things.
Okay,
I'll try to get out, once we get this settled, I will send it, I'll give him a call and we'll see what happens. Does the EMT have the technical expertise to create such a document?
common sense, if you look at the map and you think of things and, you think of it as a building and each house is a room in the building. How would we best evacuate people? And it's not, I'm saying this through experience, but, you don't want everybody going down the same road, all in the same direction. The main thing is, we don't have to figure out where they're gonna meet and all that stuff. It's just to get them out.
Yeah, get 'em out,
And people can then, once
Figuring
they're out of the
what
area, they
parts
can
for
figure
that.
out if they have their own personal, something we could put in to the people that live there. You might wanna think about your own personal plan to meet up with family and contact members to make sure that somebody knows you got out. It's more just get out of the building, get out, stay out.
Get everybody out safely.
Yeah, get out of the area safely.
I know also, I don't know, well, I don't think we can just assume that everybody's gonna get in their cars and drive out of here. I mean, if you look at other situations, people are fleeing by foot. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to incorporate that concept into it as well, but
They obviously could. I mean, I'm just saying, I would hope that they have the technical experience to be able to just it's common sense,
Okay,
Yeah,
so the answer is, yeah, they can do this. And there's no outside consultants needed.
I would not think so.
And if they need some outside consulting, I'm sure DCR would help out.
right.
Bill's the one who's really made a big issue. That, there needs to be an evacuation plan. Okay,
I think I want to add one more thing that it might behoove us to contact Wendell and Lever to see if they've had any discussions on this same issue.
my preference is to let the EMT do that.
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
That's part of the things that they would, when they created the emergency action plan for the dam, they were working with Leverett and Montague, so, I don't think we need to jump in and solve all those problems.
Yep. Okay.
But it's a good point, and at some point, we need to remember to bring that up if we think it's not happening. Okay, anything else? Right now, on that subject? We're in good shape here, our limit. Next item on the agenda is an update on beaver dam management activities at Lakeview Road Culvert. And, our last couple of discussions we've had, meetings, we've discussed the idea that the beaver dam should be broken Guess it's doing damage to the culvert, which is, on the main road and so the question is there anything happening that anyone knows about?
Well, like I said before, the brush in the area is gone right now because of that high rain where we had. If they would go in there and rake that bottom part, the mud, and that's the part of the dam that will not go out on its own. They could clean the area. Or somebody could, let's put it that way.
Well, the problem is that there's no one to do it.
Yeah. I would have done it years ago, but I couldn't have done it years
So
ago.
again, all that brush got flushed into the lake and probably piled in with the other piles.
It's
that-
all downstream there into the lake.
Right in the cove, probably.
Because you didn't go and take it out, but
That's it.
it surprised me that they allowed
Did,
that.
I believe the select board voted on hiring the beaver receiver company. Beaver
Yeah.
Solutions. Were you
Beaver
aware of that?
Solutions.
Beaver Solutions,
And
as you recall,
that's what they were looking into and putting some kind of a fence up there and.
um,
That they're, April 22nd.
Eric, do you recall that discussion?
You're muted, Eric.
Eric wasn't at the meeting,
Oh, okay.
but I have the minutes here.
Is it on the website?
I don't
Yeah.
believe we've had any discussions with specific plans and like Beaver Solutions and that kind of thing. I don't recall them. Anyway, I don't think so.
The time is saying that you weren't actually at that meeting.
It was an April 22nd vote. A motion to move forward with using beaver deceivers and utilizing the company Beaver Solution.
Okay, so maybe the town administrator is on top of this one, we have nothing to worry about.
I don't know if they talked with Pine Brook, the camp area, because that's their access to the lake.
Yeah,
I reached out to Pine Brook rep for them, and they have not yet reached out as Monday.
I talked to them before that, and they was not too happy about the idea. The one that runs the camp, Kevin Richardson. I informed them that they were gonna be coming to talk to them about it, but we didn't. They haven't, I don't know.
maybe they don't need to, maybe there's the funds available
Yeah.
and they're just gonna implement it.
Cause they, you know, they need access and they maybe help the town out on it, I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't do, but.
If I was running the place, I'd just take care of the beaver dam myself, because it's my customers that can't access the lake. And, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so for the time being, and there's not much we have to do, then we'll just keep an eye on things and see if something's gonna actually happen.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll send a note to town administrator on those, and see if, just give her a reminder, and see if there's any action taken.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Act 4 pro. Busy, huh? All right, any more discussions about the Lakeview Road culvert? Any items, any other items?
Am I hearing a motion to adjourn?
Yes, we have it. Do we have a second?
Second,
All right, all in favor?
yes.
Catherine,
All right,
Dave,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Mark is aye, and so we're closing the meeting at 9:52.
Well done.
And
Thanks, team. See you next time.
What's our next meeting then? Are we gonna have one? Don't we sometimes skip them in the summer? You tell me. I'm glad to go to one, but
No, we
Well, we
skip
gotta-
them in the winter.
all right, that's probably true. That's a good point. I know we skip them sometime.
Yeah, the winter. See you guys.
June 21st. is our
June
next meeting.
21st. Okay. All right.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate all
Thanks.
the help.
Thank you all.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
I'm gonna end the meeting right now. So I'm gonna stop sharing.